Good evening, folks. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good day. And life moves on, doesn't it? Another video. A couple of chemtrails in the sky today, I noticed. One of a bloody horizon to horizon they were. What chemtrails? They were in plain vapor trails. Yes, you know. Hey ho. They reckon that in 8 years, if the rate continues of chemtrailing this world, there'll be a point of no return for us lot. Because you'll reach critical extinction mass. That means that the figures are so low they simply will die out. And same can be said for us, I think. Anyway, talking about dying, not. I often wonder, one of the best jobs has got to be standing there at the gates of heaven, if it exists, and I suspect that the next dimension is where you're going, hopefully. But I want to stand there with a clipboard. And everybody should get the opportunity to approach their maker and answer a few questions. That's all. And I try to imagine what the questions would be. You know, typically, have you ever hurt anybody deliberately? There's very few people in life that haven't. Yeah, deliberately. Was it justified? Sometimes. Was it always justified? No. Did you feel good about doing it, or did you have any remorse? It felt great smacking him in the face, or smacking the bitch, you know. Okay. Tick, tick, cross, cross, cross. And have you hurt a child? Have you hurt an animal? You know, it's all about what have you got to be proud of versus what you've got to be wholly ashamed of. And if you've got more to be proud of than ashamed of, you're on a winner. But the way I look at it now, out there, more people have got more in their life to be ashamed of than they have to be truly proud of. And that's the way this world is turning. It's becoming progressively more violent towards each other. We're all in this me, me, me culture. What's in it for me brigade. We're all in the violence times. And, well, if there's a war going on, it ain't on my doorstep, so it doesn't matter. We are, for the most part, I think, as a species, passively aggressive. We are always on the defensive. And I'm not saying there are no good people. There are. But they're getting less and less and less. Because the way that we've been educated now is look after me and mine. At all costs, look after me and mine. Well, there's nothing wrong with looking after you and yours, providing it's not at the cost of someone else and theirs. And I'm all for fairness. I'm not a communist. I mean, people should be able to look after themselves where they can and at least do the best they can. And I know the world is full of those that give and those that take as well. And that'll be sorted out at the gates. What have you done for others lately? Well, you're thinking a long time about this. It's a long time back, really, when I held the door open for somebody. Well, holding the door open for somebody is not exactly the, most Christian thing someone could have done. Not that he has to be a Christian, of course. But the way society is going now, every year that goes by, we're moving more and more towards this what's in it for me culture. Utter selfishness. It's all about us, isn't it? And what we can get. I've said before, if you give enough people or help enough people get what they want in life, you will get yours in boatloads. It's the law of laws. It's, if there's any justice in this world, yes, there is justice in this world, and it works both ways as well. You live by the sword, as they say, and you will die by the sword. Metaphorically, mostly, but just sometimes, actually. And an example, I was watching last night on YouTube, strangely enough. There was a group meeting of Common Purpose, which is fantastic. And they invited a guest speaker to come on over from France. And she was a young woman, 26 years old, 27, and a yellow vest, they call them, don't they? The protesters, if you like, for want of a better phrase, that are standing up for civil rights and human rights in the Champs-Élysées, more often than not every weekend. And she gave a presentation, a video presentation, of what it's all about, this yellow vest stuff, because in fairness, to be fair, as the millennials say, I didn't really know what the whole deal was going down in France because I'm more preoccupied with what's happening on this side of the water. But hey-ho, I watched this and I thought, well, I'll give it a bit, and I was drawn in by this presentation, and I just couldn't believe my ears, I couldn't believe my eyes. And it seems to me that France, under Macron, Macaroni, the little Napoleon they call him down, don't they? The little Napoleon, the Rothschilds-linked funded arsehole that he is, Macron, the horrible, horrible man, has turned France into a fascist dictatorship, with him being the dictator. He truly is like a little Mussolini, and I hope he ends up in the same way as Mussolini did with his partner in crime, a woman, his wife or girlfriend, hung upside down and garroted. Because Macron is the sign of things to come in Europe. It won't be long before what happens in France will happen in Belgium and in Holland and Germany. Yes, we ain't seen nothing yet, because Macron is showing it how it should be done to the people who dare protest about their lack of civil rights and the immigration issues and the unfairness of it all and the lack of jobs and yada yada yada. Whatever. But what surprised me most was this woman videoed while she was a yellow vest, and she's a lawyer by training. She videoed people protesting, and then she videoed the police still pictures as well. And one thing you'll notice about the police that are policing the yellow vest protesters with their batons and their guns that are shooting these similar things like rubber bullets. Okay. First of all, some of the police that are passing themselves off of police, number one, can't speak French, and number two, they're not in police uniform apart from an overcoat which is different to what the coppers wear. But they've got jeans on, most of them. Yes, with a black top, and they've got all the regalia of the coppers have, but they are not dressed as police because they are not gendarmes. They are not coppers at all. Okay, because there's the equivalent to military police and there's civilian police. But half the police force that are doing a lot of damage to the yellow vests physically are thugs. They're covering up their face. They don't have any name badges or numbers on like police should have, or ID. These are paid thugs. And they are from, some of them apparently speak Chechenian. Yes, it's been caught, and some of them are from the Eastern Bloc. And they are being hired in and being passed off as coppers by Macron and his gang. And these are the merciless little bastards that are shooting rubber bullets in protesters' face, taking people's eyes out, quite literally. There's several pictures this girl showed of protesters, silent protesters, goodwill. It's a good-natured sort of thing, not a violent affair, but has been turned violent by the alleged Chechen non-French police. The French police stand idly by and watch and don't even take much notice of the utter amount of violence shown to the French protesters, the yellow vests. Okay? But only half of, literally half of the police that are policing the yellow vests are French. The others are mercenaries. And this is what it's coming down to, folks. There will be a mercenary element to the policing of the civilians in any civil crisis in the future, whether it be in France, Belgium, Holland, you name it. And I'm just waiting for it to happen in Britain when the shit hits the fan in this country. Who are we going to have in then? The Territorial Army? I don't think so. But genuinely, there are people being really badly injured by these shysters passing themselves off as coppers and getting all the, got all the gear except the jeans, and they don't have ID badges and they're wearing masks, so you can't identify the shits. And if you were to want the details of somebody who's just shot you and they don't speak a word of French. Where are they coming from, Mr. Macron, I would like to ask? Well, you wait till it kicks off in London. There's not enough coppers in Britain. Absolutely not enough coppers in Britain. They'll turn to the military, but they'll be deployed probably in Iran by that stage. Where are we going to get the manpower? Well, is it going to be then? G4? Yes, the security lot, which is a bungling mass of fucking idiots. Sorry to swear, it just gets up my nose. This is where we're headed. We are headed to a fascist dictatorship. And we really got to get out of this crap and stop it and put our foot down right now. And this girl was amazing last night. I'll see if I can find the video and put it in a box below for you to see when I can find 5. Brian Gerrish and his boys invited this girl over, and she had to escape France with her life because Macron wants her head on a platter. This is the little Macron. And this is supposed to be the European community, all for one and one for all, and yet we've got a fascist little dictator, little Hitler. He's worse than little Hitler. Hitler didn't turn the people on his, the police force on his own people. Macron has. And we have to remember that the yellow vests are peaceful protesters, and elderly, it's good-natured. It's the surprising thing about the yellow vests is that a high proportion of them are made up of women. Now, mostly, if it was an industrial big row, the women wouldn't be there and the men would be there to bring it on. But this is supposed to be a good-natured rally to just say, hey, we're aware of what's happening, we don't like it. All these immigrants, and look at the people sleeping in the streets. We've lost our tourist industry. We've lost what it means to be French, yada, yada, yada. I spent a lot of my time, me and my wife, in the Champs-Élysées. Me having a coffee, watching the world go by. She spent in the Gucci shop and the Louis Vuitton shop. But I was a happy bunny. Being the people watcher that I am, the lech, my wife would say. But no, she was happy too. And now look what's happened. You can't At one stage you couldn't walk down the Champs-Elysees for the tents and the people sleeping in the streets and the begging and the violence and the car crime. One thing you don't do in France, I learned this very quickly, was to drive around France. Certainly not in Paris. I don't know if you've ever liked to have gone around the roundabout near the Arc de Triomphe. It is a triumph to get near it and survived it. Nobody drives cars around France that haven't got a ding in them. Do you know what I mean? Oh, such happy, fond memories of that. But there's no more, is it? France used to be wonderful. And now they're deciding to not build Notre Dame or rebuild Notre Dame in its original state as it should be, making like for like. No, they'll probably put a dome on the top and they get this moronic architect to make some stupid bloody design on just what it needs. Have you seen the state of London lately? We got the Shard, we've got all the modern old architecture being ruined by out of control freaks who've been carte blanche commissioned to just do their worst in London. Oh, the London skyline, what a joke. It would be funny if it wasn't so bloody sad what these shysters are doing to our world in the name of modernisation. But I bet you they don't touch St. Paul's Cathedral with the dome on it. No, they'll just wreck everything else. The Shard, for Christ's sake. What a lot of nonsense, isn't it? They won't touch Houses of Parliament. Oh dear me, no. What about Buckingham Palace? That's due a facelift. What are we going to do then? Stick a few spikes and spires here? Or how about a big dome, a gold dome with the moon and star above it? Or a flag? It doesn't really matter. Do you think the Queenie will moan about it? No, it's never on her doorstep, is it? You might notice. No. What have they done and what are they doing? Well, you take note, what's happening in France won't stay in France. Not really. Because the clever coppers are leaving the force. The ones with a conscience, the ones who aren't thugs, are being whittled away and leaving in disgust about it's not the same police force as I joined 25 years ago. They're out of it. And they're being replaced, slowly but surely, by psychopathic mercenaries. Or some of them actually do become police, but remain psychopaths, because that's almost a qualification to get in now. So you've got to be an emotionally cold, psychopathic, lying bastard who thinks nothing of shooting a rubber bullet in a woman's face, taking her eye out. She counted last night 11 people who'd lost their eye by these bloody, look like vibrators from Ann Summers, the dildo type things, but they're rock hard plasticky rubber things. And if they hit you square in the face, they're going to smash your face. And there's lots of people who've lost eyes. And the press are saying nada, nothing. They're lying, the police are lying. They're not covering it. They're stating on the press in France that these protester yellow vests are nasty bastards and they're violent. Absolutely singing the party line for Macron. France is a fascist dictatorship and has the control of the media. And if you believe the news on the TV from France, you are having a laugh, aren't you? No, you need to see this video from this girl to get a true understanding of what's to come our way, what's to come Germany's way. And if you think the French are bad, you wait till you see the Germans in action. Oh my God, they are so easy. Germans particularly, and I know a lot about Germany, they love their uniforms, they love their badges, but most of all, they love their power. They are robotic in their obedience as well. They do as they are told. Alles in order. I was simply following orders. Good. You're just the type we're looking for. You see a protester, smash them in the face or shoot them in the face, take no shit. Ja, mein Führer. This is coming at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And this is what irritates the crap out of me when I speak to people who don't want to Brexit, who are quite happy to abide by European laws. Are they having a laugh? Or have they just simply not thought about it? And maybe they have thought about it and thought it a good idea. I've met these people. I've met the ones who are psychopaths. I've met the ones who are anti-Brexit. And they make me want to throw up because it's almost like meeting a baller, somebody who believes they live on a globe. In 5 minutes straight, I could convince them, if only they had an open mind, convince them beyond a shadow of a doubt that we live on a disc. Okay? Because the evidence is overwhelming. But no, some people are just so entrenched in their belief, they're immovable. You're just simply wasting your breath on such people. It would be quite funny if I was there, though, in heaven with the checklist. Are you a flat earther or are you a bullhead? Oh, what does he want to hear? I'm a bullhead. Oh dear, sorry, going to have to go back and learn a little bit more. Down you go. You're going to be reborn, reincarnated into the shit until you learn the proper way and learn to think for yourself and stop believing the government propaganda that we live on a globe. I don't understand it. It is so blatantly bloody obvious to me that we live on a flat disc. An immovable flat disc. It isn't spinning around at 1,600 miles an hour, orbiting around the sun, and the sun's shooting off and we're going around. And Christ's sake, I can drop a feather in my garden sometimes, it'll just waft down. Not a breath of air. No breeze. Yet we're supposed to be travelling at 1,000+ miles an hour. I've never seen water follow the curvature of the earth. Whenever I've held some water up in a bottle, guess what? I get it's level. Spirit levels are level because they got water in them that is only wanting to remain horizontal. Slightest tip that way, the little bubble goes, doesn't it? Oh, we have to lower the spirit level. Why? Because water loves finding the level. Hello. The clue is in the word. Tell me a ball that is level, please. Oh man. But the hardest part about being a flat earther, as far as I'm concerned, once you truly grasp it, is how was I so stupid to believe such bullshit that the teachers started to teach me when I was 5, my first few days of school, by shoving a globe in my face. Play with that. Can you see Great Britain? They spin the globe around and you can all point. Gather round the table, children. Look into my eyes. The Wicked Witch, your first school teacher, starts to spout the lies. Sadly, those lies are compounded by your parents because they know no better. Both of my parents died thinking that we live on a ball. But forgive them, Father, for they knew not what they said. Is it truly important to me that I know and believe we're on a flat plane? You're too damn right it is. Because you and I both have a duty of care for what goes on in our head. We have to police so carefully what comes in, processed and stored, or comes in, processed and immediately ejected. but not necessarily ejected out of hand. We have to do our own due diligence. Look, the answer is I don't know whether we live on a ball or a flat plane, but I'm going to look at the evidence. So I can understand people saying, well, the jury's still out. I don't really know, but I'm open to persuasion. My type of people. There's one thing for sure. You won't ever have to persuade someone that they live on a ball. Oh no, because we're just so like lemmings jumping off a cliff. Because the production line goes on and on and on and on and on, and the school's churning out the little ball heads as we speak. But don't you think they should give the child at school, your child at school, the preponderance of evidence choice? Look, this is the arguments that we live on a flat plane, and this is a flat disc, and this is the evidence that we live on a ball. Okay, children, take your time, look at the evidence. Oh yes, you can see the ship going over the horizon and is round the curvature so it disappears. Yes, but look, you hold this Nikon P900, point it towards where the ship was. Yes, now zoom in and magically the... Oh miss, I've sucked the boat all the way back to me. It's come back. All they've done is zoom it in. It hasn't gone over the curvature, has it? It's just got out of our perspective. This is the problem. We don't have a perspective conscience. Kids are so used to fisheye lenses now. They're used to believing never a straight answer. NASA, never a straight answer. They got a lie for everything, like Neil deGrasse asked Tyson. I mean, I would line these people up against the wall so fast and make them on their knees and confess that they're lying bastards before I blow their brains out. Come on, tell the people you're truly such a lying bastard, filling your bank account with the pernicious lies that you spread. The global warming, fossil fuels, oh yeah, oil's a fossil fuel bullshit, which it evidently isn't, and provably isn't. Diamonds, oh they're so rare, are actually bloody prolific. They just make them scarce quite deliberately. A cubic zirconia is more valuable and harder to produce than getting your hands on a diamond, because they hide the diamonds and you have to make cubic zirconia. Okay, and pay people to make it. You don't have to pay anybody to make a bloody diamond. You can find it on the floor in Africa. Tell De Beers that one. The lies, let's look at the lies, shall we? Inoculations are good for you. Fluoride's good for you. Okay. There are no chemtrails. We wouldn't do it to you. All right. Gay marriage is absolutely okay. It's natural. Really. Okay. I am quite homophobic myself. I can't stand this nonsense. These two bloody pansies. I can go with the girls because they have a caring, feminine, caring side to them. But there's always a butch half to the female bloody lesbianism, isn't there? And in lesbian fights are far more violent than homosexual men fighting. Oh, absolutely are. Lesbians get hurt far more in fights than homosexual men. Because men are forgiving, at least women, they are vicious in a fight. Anyway, I digress. Let's look at the other lies, shall we? Oh, have you got time? I've got a complete litany, too many to say to you, but the hardest thing for me to understand is to grasp is nobody's given me the right answer, if there is one, or a answer that makes sense. Who benefits from all these lies that are perpetrated against humanity when they know they're lies? Who benefits by spreading them to us? How do they benefit? They believe we live on a ball. Is it because they just like making us all look stupid? Or is it an indicator of how the chemtrails are working, how the inoculations are working, how the food poisoning is working? Look, judging by the amount of bullshit they'll agree to and it's being true, is a good indicator of just how dumb the morons are. They're ripe for the taking. That's about the sum of it. What if, in a population of 67 million people in the United Kingdom, 66 million of us believe we live on a flat plane? Don't you think they'd sing a different song then? Well, look, they're not believing the shit anymore. We're in trouble. Look at them all. And they all believe chemtrails are killing them all. What are we going to do if they wise up? This is the worry. You see, sometimes they tell too many lies, and when they do catch up with them, that's when the trouble and the shit is going to hit the fan. And we are getting to the stage now with the internet whereby more and more people are doing their own due diligence. Thank Christ for small mercies. You see? Well, there we are. It's all unfolding. It's an exciting time to be alive. It truly is. But you've got to get into your head that, well, be realistic. Let's assume you're 50 years old. Okay, and you're going to die at 70. Assume. You get to 70. You're going to look back in anger? Or you're going to be looking back in pride to say you saw and witnessed the turning of the tide of man's intelligence? Because it seems to me that the more and more enlightened we become, with the facility to do our own education on the internet, which has never before been given to anybody at the level it is, free information, that we still remain so bloody dumb and compliant. It's truly a disgrace and a sign of the state of where we are and how effective television, ball games, sport, trivial shite. They're more interested in what's in the charts, who's zooming who, what car they drive, how big their bloody houses are they going on holiday this year, are they going to have a rave party, or is it going to be... when are we going to wake up? And they have the temerity, don't they, the controllers, to limit our ability to use psychedelics, pharmaceuticals like marijuana, like dimethyltryptamine, spliff even, like magic mushrooms, because that's only for them. Okay, we're not allowed to see the reality of this absolute phenomenal world we live upon. We only see a very small spectrum, and that's all we're allowed to see. And know your limits. Well, who died and made them bloody king? You see, at some stage on this world, folks, we're all the same, somebody come along and said, oh, I'm gonna be king. Well, what's a king then? Well, I'm gonna be the leader, and my wife and children, we're not gonna work, we're just gonna sponge off the rest of you. Okay. Because you need to be told what to do because you're such thickos. Okay. Somewhere in history, it's the same with money. Money just didn't happen. There was a time in our world, folks, we didn't have any idea what money was. Money was an absolute invention of something so evil. And it wasn't a human invention. It was an off-world invention to control us. And hasn't it worked to treat? It truly was an off-world invention of some really dodgy bastards who didn't want us to have free will. They wanted to enslave us. And money, oh man, money or the lack of it is the biggest prison, isn't it? There isn't a day goes by in your life, folks, that you don't think about money or the lack of it or how to get it. Be honest. It is a preoccupation for most people to sit there, worry. Will I lose my job? What do I do if I lose my job? Have I got enough savings to pay the rent or the mortgage? I'll be out of my bloody ear. Can't afford the kids' school fees. I can't afford the shoes. No, but they can get into debt. Another man-made invention, the credit card, wasn't it? Why don't they call it the debt card? Because that's what it is. It's another play on our psyche. I got credit, look, Mandy. What do you want to use that for? To get into debt? Yeah, but it's a credit card. It's rather strange that they call it a credit card when you're not acquiring credit. You're not running up credit, folks. You're running up debt. It's all a mind game. And that's what this world is. It is a holographic mind game. And we've got to stop falling for this shit. Because it is such a low resonant frequency to exist in. Fear stands for F-E-A-R. False evidence appearing real. That's all. It's all one big, bloody big, contric illusion. You've got to be educated, have you bollocks? There's plenty of wealthy people, folks, who are as thick as dog shit. So it ain't education. It truly isn't. There's a lot of educated idiots out there. They've got all the answers. But they're broke as church mice. But he's a professor. Tell me a professor or with a tenureship at a university that has got a multi-million-pound house and drives a couple of Rolls Royces and a few Porsches, for example. Nada. So it's not what's in your head. You're a very, very clever professor, because they know a lot about such a diddy amount. That's what they're worth. You see, if you've got a mathematics professor, no, let's say, you've got a history professor. And you get, he's so important. He knows a lot about the 12th to 14th century. Just a little time span, that's all his little brain can take. And just that, he's a super duper. He knows when that guy farted and that guy shot it, and who was shagging who. He knew everything between that time periods. Ask him a question about zoology or medicine or astrology. But they're supposed to be so bloody clever. I'd rather be a man for all seasons. I would rather know a little bit about a hell of a lot than a hell of a lot about practically F all. Because that shows you've got balance. But when you're so preoccupied in your life about preoccupied, and I mean that, money, 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 you're going to become worrying yourself to an early grave. Yeah, baby. Another one's dropped dead with stress because of the worries, the suicide rates, the drug addiction rates, because they want to escape. Yet they have the temerity to make suicide a criminal offence. Who the f do they think they are? If I want to top myself, folks, I'll top myself. Thanks very much. Discussion over. No, I don't have to justify to anyone, apart from him at the pearly gates. That's who I answer to. And what is a thorough disgrace, for example, is how Edison managed to smash Tesla, into such a state that the poor Tesla guy who could wipe the floor with Edison ended up penniless in a hotel room. And when the poor sod died, the bastards broke in and stole all of his stuff and hid it away for the benefit of mankind. Tesla, before he died, had already written designs down. You think it's great having wireless? Oh yeah, I can hold my iPhone up. Right, got one here, look, iPhone, yeah? My little iPhone. Yeah, look, I get Wi-Fi. See, look, see, Wi-Fi. I can go on the internet. It's wireless, you know. Look, no strings. Wireless. But what about if I could hold a lamp and just hold it up in a certain area of my house, okay, or turn the wireless button on the side, dink, and just hold it up and it would light up because of the free energy that was floating past all of us that Tesla already knew about. See, it's all energy. And we can hold our phones up and catch the energy called wireless. Well, we can catch electricity energy as well. But they didn't want that, did they? They want to charge us for something that is all around us. And Tesla wanted to give electric away as a common right. If you could see colour in the moisture of the air, folks, you would just see it swirling around. It would be like looking at a rainbow with a psychedelic drug in you. You could just play with it. Hardly see each other, of course, because oh, where are you? Speaking to me? Oh, yes, it's you. Hello there. And you can waft it all around, but it's invisible. And this is the trick, isn't it? Wireless internet is invisible, and so is wireless electricity. And the bastards have got the technology from Tesla, who wanted to put 7 or 8 super towers around the world to harvest the energy and provide it to the people for nothing. But all we're run by in this world, people, is bastards who want to profiteer at any cost to the people. And that is truly an evil system. We are simply, in the words of Neo, we are simply batteries. Well, I'm looking forward to unplugging. We could have had wireless electricity well before the internet. But they can't put a plug on it and put a meter on it and charge us like they do now. Isn't it a complete scam? And this is why we live on such an evil world. We live on a wonderful world controlled by evil things. That's what's disgusting. Including the politicians like Henry Kissinger. I'm not a great fan of Donald Trump. I'm not a great fan of our politicians in this country either, in the UK. But I want to be at the pearly gate. And your name is? Oh, right, okay. Tony Blair. Yes, you're the bastard who goes on about weapons of mass deception. Deception or destruction, Tony? Yes, and oh, George Bush, that's your name, is it? Oh, yes, I remember that. I heard all about the shock and awe. The 9/11 Tower orchestrator, was that you as well, Mr. Bush? And Cheney and Rumsfeld? And the bankers? Oh, yes. Well, I've got so many decisions to make. Pick your poison, because you're going back. I'd send them back as a Muslim. I really would. A lot of them. No disrespect to the Muslims, but why should we suffer? I think the Muslims need people like that now. Folks, in less than 10 weeks, this world will be at war with America versus Iran. Less than 10 weeks. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I've been wrong once this week, and that was when I thought I was wrong. You see, and the carrot, oh sorry, did I say carrot? I mean Donald Trump. He doesn't know whether he's coming or going, does he? Well, I don't suppose his mother did either. Catch you tomorrow, folks. I can't wait to see what happens, and I hope I see the day that these bastards get their comeuppance for all the lies and the deceit. And when will NASA just admit, for once in their scrawny bloody lives, these shiesty Nazi bastards, that NASA is totally fascistic Gestapo lying propaganda machine that was just now become a super lying propaganda machine called NASA. And people like deGrasse Tyson, who are fully supporting geoengineering, i.e. chemtrails, and are denying them like crazy, by the way. Oh, he'd be the first. Oh yes. He should be charged for crimes against humanity and polluting the minds of our children with his utter bullshit. As long as he can get the check from the chemtrailing companies and the governments and stick it in his pocket and buy himself a new car and a big meal for him and his fat wife and his own fat belly. Just by... This is proceeds of crime as far as I'm concerned. Every time Neil deGrasse Tyson gets paid, he's getting proceeds of a crime. The crime that he is... Talk about crime against humanity. All the scientists are such liars, they should be lined up and shot. They start telling the truth then, wouldn't they? Think about it. It's amazing what you do and what power you have when you put a gun to somebody's head. You'll get the confession. Give it a go sometime. I'd love to.